most of the last decade. Doc is now back in the East with Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, and the Sixers. No secret Ben Simmons has struggled with his shooting, but that does not seem to bother Philly's new head coach.
I don't care about Ben's shooting as much as so many other people seem to care about it. I care that he's a great player, and I'm going to let him play. I'm going to give him the keys and let him be free and play. If he takes no shots, I'm fine.
All right, some interesting comments there. Now, there is a debate whether Embiid or Simmons is the top dog in Philly, but Stephen A. asked you, do you think that Simmons is going to be the best player for the Sixers?
I do think he's going to be the best player with the Sixers, but I will say this, Max, you know how close I am with Coach Doc Rivers. I love the man, and but I'm going to say this affectionately. I can say this to Doc Rivers because that would be he and I debating basketball before he ultimately schools me because he knows more than I do, of course. But I think that is the most asinine thing I've heard Doc Rivers say. He doesn't care if Ben Simmons shoot the ball. Stop it. And if you don't care, damn it, Doc Rivers, you better care. Okay? Doc Rivers, let's understand something here. Do y'all know, Max Kellerman, in the 3 full seasons that Ben Simmons has played basketball in the National Basketball Association, do you have any idea, Max Kellerman, how many three-point shots he's attempted? He's attempted.
I don't know the number of attempts. No.
He's attempted 24 three-point shots in his career. He's made 2. That's it. 2 3-pointers in 3 years. That's Ben Simmons. So essentially, come playoff time, a lot of times you see defenses lagging off and basically daring you to do something. And if the ball is in his hands, essentially it's 4-on-5 basketball. Now, this is Doc Rivers coaching this team, okay, not Brett Brown. And we understand that, even though we wish nothing but the best for Brett Brown. But in the end, what it comes down to is this. Ben Simmons is still going to be your best player. Here's the reason why. Because outside of his shooting ability, he could do everything else. He's an elite defender. He's about 6'10" with that wingspan. He's got mad ball handling skills. His basketball IQ is off the charts. He's an exceptional passer. We know all of that. The acquisition of Seth Curry is the difference here. Seth Curry, the son-in-law of Doc Rivers. That acquisition is pivotal because that brother can shoot. He's a Curry. He's just a Curry. I mean, it's got to the point, Max, if your last name is Curry, the expectation is that you can shoot. Yeah. I don't give a damn if you're a Curry from another country. Okay? You have no relation to the Currys whatsoever. They are such lethal snipers that if your last name is Curry, the expectation is you can shoot the damn basketball. So when you have him, Thibault is no joke defensively. We get all that. But a Tobias Harris, a Joel Embiid, and the way that Doc Rivers will utilize them, the way he's going to unleash Ben Simmons, I think he's going to unleash Ben Simmons to be more of a scorer as opposed to a shooter. I think Ben Simmons, knowing he has that freedom, will be more creative. And I think that will lead to him facilitating so much for everybody else. That's what's going to make him the best player the Sixers have, even more so than Joel Embiid.
Ben Simmons is already a great player. I thought he was the best defender when he was healthy, before the knee injury in the NBA last year, period. I thought he should have been Defensive Player of the Year up until that point. He's 6'10". He's like a kind of poor man's LeBron, only with better handles than LeBron. But he has that kind of court vision and passing ability. He can finish at the rim, all those things. And by the way, since he's come into the league, he has created more open looks from 3 for his teammates than anyone in the league. So He actually assists you, literally, in that department. He is a great player already, and yet Embiid will be the best player on the Sixers this season.
General has been cashing in with the extensions all over the board, but one notable exception, Bam Adebayo. Now, we assume the Heat are trying to maintain cap flexibility for 2021, but Zach, is there pressure on the Heat to extend Bam now? And what are you hearing from Bam and his agent about what their expectations are for this offseason?
Well, it certainly doesn't help the Heat's argument that maybe Bam should wait, that everyone else is not waiting. But this is a massively important issue because if Bam signs that max extension now, the Heat's cap situation is such that they might have to trade almost everybody up to and including Tyler Hero, according to Bobby Marks, who I checked with today, just to fit Giannis's supermax or Giannis's max or anybody else's max, should that come to pass. We don't know if that will even be an opportunity for them. So, yeah, I think Fox, Tatum, and on, signing Donovan Mitchell, signing these contracts, does put pressure on the Heat. I think the Heat and Bam and his team will meet this week, and we'll get news out of that meeting. And, Bam and Giannis actually have the same agent, so that's another tricky dynamic part to all of this. We'll see how much pressure they exert.
Zach, I understand what you're saying, and I get it that, the Miami Heat still might have hopes that they could possibly land Giannis. But my grandpa used to tell me you can never pass up some for show trying to get some more. And here it is, you have a young stud and Bam, who was a first-time All-Star. The sky's the limit for him. He should get his paper. He deserves it. If you're the Miami Heat and you sign Myers Leonard to a 2-year, $20 million deal, and you look at a guy like Bam and what he did in his regular season and how he elevated his game in the playoffs, it's time to pay that man what he's worth. He deserves every single dollar. Let's get it done. Y'all need to make sure that he's one of the center points of the franchise, and don't depend on a what if, and take the for sure that's right there in front of your face, and that's Bam.
Okay, Perk, that's all well and good, but first of all, let's not compare Myers Leonard's situation to Bam, because that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're Bam, and the Heat come to you and say, you are our cornerstone, we're going to take care of you, we swear. But we want to help you win a championship. And if you can be patient just a little longer, we want to see how this plays out so we can have Giannis next to you and you can win a championship together. I don't think that's unreasonable from a franchise point of view. Now, if it gets to a point where Bam and his agents say, listen, fish or cut bait, then you have a decision to make. But to buy a little time here, Giannis hasn't made up his mind yet, as far as we know. We haven't certainly heard one way or another whether he's going to sign that Supermax. It's just prudent on everybody's part to wait a little longer.
Well, yeah, Jackie. I was just going to say, Perk, that Zach made the point that Giannis and Bam have the same agent. So there is someone involved here who is very familiar with Giannis's thinking. So I certainly understand the idea of not rushing into this over this past weekend until they see how things play out with Giannis and the Bucks over the course of the next few weeks. That being said, and Jackie, look, we can all look at the numbers and say, yes, it would be better for the Heat as an organization if they can have Bam wait. They do give him that full reward next offseason that will give them more flexibility. If Giannis, or frankly, an opportunity for another big free agent comes in to help him in 2021. But with all the injuries you have seen around the league, major injuries to major players, if you were on the other side of that, as you point out, Jackie, really good speech from the Heat, very prudent, makes a lot of sense, would you still feel comfortable taking that risk?
Right. That's a fair point, and we'll have to wait and see. It really is a literally wait and see thing. And I'm not saying, you wait forever. If you're Bam and his agent, at some point, you're going to say, listen, we've tried to play this game with you, and now we need to get paid. And everybody would respect that.
Well, Jackie, I wasn't comparing Myers Leonard and Bam in that type of way. What I'm saying is, if you're going to compensate Myers Leonard to $10 million a year, then you definitely have to take in consideration and get one of your franchise centerpieces out the way. That's my point. I know Bam is probably ready, and this is the problem with guys like Bam and Giannis in this situation having the same agent, because you just never know. It could be so many hidden agendas behind this, and this is why sometimes agents lose clients, because they may lean towards one way and give one client bad advice to help another client out. So this is the sticky part of the situation when you're dealing with agents that have the same client and you dealing with hundreds of millions of dollars in an MVP type player.
But that's unavoidable, Perk. I mean, Kevin Durant's the only one I can think of that has one agent, Rich Kleiman, that has no other clients. Almost all of, I forget who your agent was, but I'm sure he had multiple clients. That's just how it works in the NBA.
To Rachel's point, if you ask Bam to wait, right? If you ask Bam to wait and say, we're going to give you all the money in a year, you better damn well mean it. You better mean it if he tears his Achilles, God forbid. Yeah. You better mean it if he has a bad season by his standards or something like that. You better give him everything, because to Rachel's point, I see no reason for any player to wait when the money is there for them. Bam has earned it by any standard. His playoff performance, he's an all-NBA level player. He has earned it. So if you say you wait, you better mean it. You better give it to him no matter what.
Welcome back to The Jump. Look who's here to join us, Hall of Famer Jackie McMullen.
Hey, everybody. How you guys.
Always good to have Jackie back, and always good to get her when we're talking Celtics. We got a lot to discuss. Jason Tatum agreeing to a 5-year max extension that's worth $195 million if Tatum makes All-NBA this season. Now, this is all based on the projected cap. The deal was expected, but considering how Boston has lost some big free agents recently, Jackie, what does this extension signal to Celtics fans coupled with Gordon Hayward's departure?
Well, I can tell you it's been a very rugged few days for Celtics fans, and I think what this signals, Rachel, is there was a little buzz after Gordon Hayward left and the Celtics got nothing. Remember now, the third player in the last 2 seasons to walk. Kyrie Irving before him and Al Horford before him as well. And I think there was some buzz around the league. Do people not want to play in Boston? I think Jason Tatum is saying, you pay me the max? I'll be very happy to play here, and I'll be your cornerstone. And so there's a sigh of relief here in Boston because he's the most important player. This was a no-brainer for the Celtics to try to get this done.
Yeah, big picture, the story of the Celtics season was Jason Tatum emerging as a legitimate All-NBA level superstar. What this contract signals is, here you go. This is what you get paid if you're a legitimate All-NBA level superstar. And to Jackie's point, it's a reminder that, boy, that trade with Brooklyn, talk about a trade that changed the landscape of the NBA and still ripples to this day, because Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are in Boston because of that trade, and they're really the only constants. Al Horford's gone, Gordon Hayward's gone, Kyrie Irving's gone, Isaiah Thomas is gone. Those two are the franchise now, and as long as they're there, Boston is going to be relevant and really good in the East. But boy, without that Brooklyn trade, it's hard to imagine where they'd be.
Exactly.
Well, listen, I understand people had concerns, but I didn't, and here's why. Without those guys leaving, Gordon Hayward, Kyrie Irving, Al Horford, we wouldn't have got a chance to see the full potential of Jason Tatum. They were just in this way, and then all of a sudden he took off. He took off towards the last part of the season, right around the All-Star break, and he started to reach superstar status. And now, guess what happened? Everybody's moving. Gordon Hayward left. They got money on the table. Danny Ainge and Wick Grossbeck and Steve Pagliuca, that's what they did.